Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Baltimore now has won 15 in a row. The last 11 games of the regular season. 3 games in a row over Minnesota in the American League Championship. And, of course, they won yesterday. But 15 games in a row, they've won 23 of their last 26 games. And, of course, more importantly, they won the first World Series game. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, in the last 6 games, the Big Red Machine has only scored 17 runs. But today is the second game of the World Series, and as they say, a brand new ball game. And for the play-by-play, here's Chuck Thompson.
Thank you very much, Jim Simpson. Good afternoon, everybody. Don Buford stands in against the right-handed Jim McLaughlin. Buford 1 for 4 yesterday. Switch hitter and a left-hander against the McLaughlin, whose curveball is low and inside, and we're underway with game number 2. McLaughlin has an outstanding curveball, a pretty good fastball, and his change sometimes looks like a forkball. Ball 2 is high and inside now to Buford. 2 balls, no strikes to the Oriole left fielder. Another of the many Californians in Major League Baseball, Don Buford. McLaughlin ready to go. Hit 2-0 is a ball 3, low and outside. Buford ran the hands up the bat, apparently taking all the way. 3 balls, no strikes. The count to the Oriole leadoff hitter, Don Buford. Around the Cincinnati infield, Perez at third base. He's up kind of shallow. Deep at short is Woodward. Second baseman Helms, first baseman Mace. 3-0 is a strike call, and Buford is taking all the way. 3 balls, 1 strike to Don Buford. In yesterday's encounter, Buford fouled with a catcher, fly to right, drilled a single in the Oriole 6th inning, which rubbed out in the double play. Then he skied to the left fielder in the 8th inning. McLaughlin throws a matching strike 2 call. So a full count to Baltimore's leadoff hitter Buford. 3-2. He will be followed by Paul Blair and then Boog Powell. A change in the Cincinnati outfield, and that is the only change. A swing and a looping fly ball down over the head of the third baseman. If it drops in fair ground, it's going to be trouble. It is. It's a fair ball. Now out in foul ball. The third baseman Perez grabs it. And Buford is on with a bloop single. Just a little looping top fly over the head of the third baseman. Hit a couple of feet there and then bounced foul. And Don Buford has hit number 2 in the 1970 World Series, a bloop single over the head of the third baseman. So the leadoff hitter is reached, and now Baltimore's number 2 batter, right-hand swinging Paul Blair, who also had 1 hit in 4 trips yesterday, and it was a scratch hit at that, but paid off in a big Baltimore run as Boog Powell followed it with a 2-run home run. The pitch to Blair. It's a strike right at the knees in the outside corner. Lee May is holding with a speedy Don Buford at first base. Outfield to Paul Blair is deep and around toward the left field side. McShay is straightaway deep and left. The center fielder Tolan is toward the alley in left center. Right fielder Rose toward the alley in right center as McLaughlin goes to first base. No play on Buford. Now the 1-strike offering to the leading Paul Blair. Curve fouled back to the screen, and the count is 2 strikes now to Paul Blair. In talking to Oriole batters about McLaughlin, the one thing they want to make quite clear is that they have a tremendous amount of respect for McLaughlin and think that he has one of the better curveballs that they swing at. 2 strikes to Paul Blair. Buford is aboard at first base with a bloop single over the head of the third baseman, Tony Perez. The set by McLaughlin, the right-hander throws, swinging another foul on the screen, and the count holds 2 strikes to Paul Blair. Well, as Jim Simpson told you, an overcast Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati, and as we look up above now, it appears that the weather is trying to improve. We can see a few patches of blue, and we might yet have sunshine before game number 2 is over. Buford with a short lead at first base. The set by McLaughlin, a throw to first. Buford is back despite the tag effort of Lee May. Well, the big right-hander McLaughlin ready to go. Kicks and fires. It curved him into dirt and outside on a good save from catcher Johnny Bench. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Paul Blair. The on-deck hitter for the Orioles then is Boog Powell. George Staller coaches the first base side for Baltimore with Billy Hunter at third base. McLaughlin ready to go again. The right-hander sets below the belt, fires, lone outside to even the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, all of the talk about the Orioles and Cincinnati in the World Series this year was about the great balance and how evenly matched these two teams were, and certainly game number 1 proved all of the experts correct. What a ball game these two teams put on yesterday. The pitch, like ground ball, sharply hit at the shortstop. They may get 2. 1 out at second. The throw back to first. A quick double play. Sharply hit ground ball right at the shortstop Woodward, and it was an easy double play for the Reds from short to second to first. 2 down, nobody on, and the batter with the Boog Powell. He hit into the double play, the only double play of the ball game yesterday. But he also hit a 2-run home run in the 4th inning off starter Gary Nolan. Nolan's comment about yesterday's game, he was quite disappointed over throwing 3 home run balls. He said, I never have done that before this year. But still, he said, I think I'd rather be myself than Doc Ellis. The first pitch coming to Boog Powell is a ball 1, low and inside. The inference being, of course, the fine pirate hurler is not in the series, whereas Gary Nolan is. Powell hit 35 round trippers on the year. Gives a fastball in right at the knees, and the strike is called to Boog Powell, making the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Again today, with nobody on the base paths, the Cincinnati Reds have a 3-man overshift in effect. 3 infielders between first and second base. And second baseman Helms is way back on right field. A check swing and a ball down low on the curveball from McLaughlin. 2 balls and 1 strike. Shortstop Woody Woodward is well around to the first base side of the bag and on the outfield portion of the artificial turf. Helms is on the first base side of the infield, very deep in shallow right field. Lee May, the first baseman on the line, deep behind the bag. The 2-1 to Powell. Outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike to the Oriole first baseman. The left-hand swinging Boog Powell. 2 out and nobody on. Top half of the first inning. Game number 2 just underway at the beautiful Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. 3-1-6. Strike 2 called. 3-2 to Powell. Well, McLaughlin had 3-2 to Buford, who got him for a bloop single over the head of the third baseman. He now faces Powell with a 3-2 count. The on-deck hitter is Frank Robinson, who was hitless in 4 tries yesterday. 3-2 to Powell. Curveball low inside. Ball 4. And here is the walk to Boog Powell. That'll bring in Frank Robinson. Many writers were asking Frank Robinson if this, wasn't a terribly exciting thing for him to come back to Cincinnati in a World Series against his former teammates, for whom he starred for some 10 years. Frank said, well, it certainly is, but honestly, he said, the great thrill was coming back to this new and beautiful ballpark in the All-Star game this summer. He said that was tremendously exciting. Right-hand hitting Frank Robinson, the right-hand offering for McLaughlin. The pitch, curve, it's outside low, ball 1. Frank has hit 475 lifetime home runs and is 12th on the all-time list of home run hitters. They're not holding with Powell at first as the McLaughlin kicks and fires, low and away, ball 2 to Frank Robinson. Shortstop Woody Woodward is extremely deep to Frank Robinson and cut well around toward the hole. The infield is shaded a bit to the third base side. Outfield really swung to the left field side and very deep. And now a 2-0 pitch to Frank Robinson. 2 out and Powell at first. McLaughlin throws, swinging a foul ball, coming back over the screen and out of play. 2 balls, 1 strike to Frank. The Reds and the Orioles in the World Series, the series that everyone wanted to see. And it got off to a tremendously thrilling start yesterday. The 2-1 offering to Frank Robinson. McLaughlin's pitch, fly ball, well hit down the right field side. Fading, it's going to be a foul ball. Just a long foul ball off the bat of Frank Robinson, so the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The first experience for the Orioles on artificial turf here at Riverfront Stadium yesterday brought nothing but praise. Not a negative comment from one of the Baltimore ball players, infielders or outfielders. Everybody had nothing but kind words to say. Now the 2-2 offering to Frank. McLaughlin ready to go. Powell walks out to lead at first. The set and the pitch. Strike three is called over the inside corner of the knees. Frank Robinson is called out on strike. That is the Oriole half of the first inning. At the end of the half inning, Baltimore nothing, and of course, Cincinnati nothing.
Noted in the first inning, Chuck Thompson, that Jim McLaughlin was staring at an umpire, John Ricciardi, on several calls. Many know that the National League is a low ball league, and the National League umpires are on that outside shoulder, looking down right over the shoulder of the catcher. He calls the low ball around the knee. The American League goes right over the catcher's head and is inclined to call more strikes up high. Palmer didn't get many strikes yesterday, and McLaughlin thought he wasn't getting the strikes today. Baltimore is Chuck.
And Pete Rose to lead off against Mike Cuellar. A breaking pitch is in. The strike is called. Rose went 0 for 3 yesterday. He did reach on Thatcher's interference. He also reached in that tenth and caught ninth inning with a 2-out walk. Now the one-strike pitch to the right-hand swinging Rose. Screwball missed the outside corner, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Cuellar is a man of many pitches, and he throws them all very well. He throws a screwball hard and soft, curveball hard and soft, curve, ground ball, glove side of the shortstop. Belanger, he boots it. It's out into center field. Running it down out there is Paul Blair. And we'll wait for the official scorer's ruling. A sharply hit ground ball. Belanger was there. It carried off the glove and went out into center field, and Rose has reached. Belanger did not play it. We're waiting to see what the official scorer will rule, base hit or error. It is ruled an error to the shortstop, Mark Belanger. And the usually impeccable fielding shortstop, Mark Belanger, who was, believe me, spoken glowing terms of this beautiful artificial turf, was there to make the play and apparently misread the hop, and it counted off the heel of the glove into center field. Rose is on with an error, and here is Bobby Tolan, an awesome hitter against left-handed pitching this year. Cuellar's pitch is a curve outside and a ball. Tolan, a left-handed batter, but he is at left-handed pitching to a fare thee well. And now the fine Cincinnati fans jump into the ball game here on the bottom of the first inning. Rose is the runner at first. Powell holds with that runner. Cuellar ready to work, delivers. Tolan takes high with the ball. 2 balls, no strikes. Tolan yesterday had 1 base hit in 4 trips, and it was a booming double down the alley in the first inning. That allowed him to score the Reds' first run of the ball game. When an out later, Johnny Bench hammered a single to left field. Cuellar 2-0 to left-hand hitting Tolan. Swing, and he didn't get it. The good Cuellar fastball. Cuellar throws the fastball, the screwball, the slider, and the curveball. And for those of you who are not too familiar with the screwball, against a fellow like Tolan, it will be breaking down and into him. Curve, bunted at him, missed. And the count now 2-2. A slow curveball from Cuellar, and Tolan tried to bunt, missed the pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Red center fielder, Bobby Tolan. Pitched about in the middle of the box out of a straightaway stance, and the Oriole infielder kind of straight up on him. Blair, center fielder, toward the alley and left center. Here's a ground ball slowly hit toward the third base side. Brooks Robinson has throws to second. He's out at second base. Pete Rose came barreling in with a booming slide, trying to knock Johnson down, and of course reached safely. He did not get there in time. The force is executed. Brooks Robinson grabbed the slow roller, which was headed towards short, cut it off, flipped back to Dave Johnson, and the force is executed at second base. 1 away, and now the speedy Tolan is at first on that 4th play. 1 out. And here now is Tony Perez. He went 0 for 3 yesterday, but a man with awesome power. The shift in the outfield way around the left field and very deep. Cuellar 6 ground ball, base hit through the middle of center field. Blair plays the ball, and Tolan will hold at second base on Perez's first hit of the 70 series. And here, a thunderous ovation for Johnny Bench. So as Jim Simpson told you, the Cincinnati Reds, who are devastating against left-handed pitching this year in the National League, winning 17 and losing only 2 here in Cincinnati, are now off to a good start against Cuellar. With a runner at first, and another runner at second with one out in the inning. And the right-hand swinging Johnny Bench at the plate. He singled to knock in a run yesterday. Cuellar ready to work and the pitch. Kerr popped up foul. It may be out of play, and it is out of play behind the plate. Strike one to Bench. Belanger, the Orioles shortstop, cut well around toward the hole. Second baseman Johnson over toward the bag. A pronounced swing to the third base side defensively in the Oriole infield. And the outfield is, well, almost straight away with the exception of Frank Robinson, who's way over in the alley in right center. Sits the Bench. Strike two called as Cuellar found the range with a curveball. 0-2, the count to John Bench. Cuellar, a very rapid worker, is ready to go. The set and the pitch to Bench. Curved in, fly ball, well hit, deep right field. Frank Robinson back toward the warning track. He's there, makes the grab. Poland tags at second and will advance to third. Poland takes third after the catch of a drive well hit into right field off the bat of the right-hand swinging Johnny Bench. Two down and runners on the corners. Poland at third, Perez at first, and at the plate now, Lee May. His big bat accounted for two of the Cincinnati 3 runs yesterday. And the only man in the Cincinnati batting order to have had more than one hit yesterday was Lee May. A fellow they call the Big Bopper, one of the more colorful nicknames in baseball. And on the year, this man hit the home run ball 34 times for Cincinnati and knocked in 94 runs. Well, he banged one yesterday with a made aboard. Now he has runners at first and third. Perez, the right-handed hitter, or May, the right-handed hitter, waiting. Cuellar pitch. Line drive, well hit, out of left center field. Blair can't get there. It's off his glove. Off the wall, deep in left field. One run is in. Here is Perez around third. They're waving him home. On his way to third base goes May, and there's no throw. A triple for May, and the Reds lead 2-0. Line drive, sinking in the alley in left center. Blair got there, but he could not make a play on the fly. He tried to backhand it by trapping the ball on the half hop. It pounded off his glove over the head of Buford to the fence. That allowed Poland to score, Perez to score, and here now is the follow-up. The third base side of the mound by McRae. They are thrown to the plate is wild, and the third run scores, and McRae has reached. Throw to first base, cut off by foul, and McRae gets back safely. Al McRae bunted the first pitch off the third base side of the mound. Cuellar fielded it, tried to make a backhanded throw to the catcher, Hendricks. He threw it away. That allowed May to score and McRae to reach, and we'll wait for the official scorer's verdict on the play. Al McRae bunted the first pitch off the third base side of the mound. Cuellar got over there and made the pickup. And with May legging to the plate, tried to make a backhanded throw to his catcher, Hendricks. He threw it away, threw it wildly by Hendricks, and naturally May scored without any difficulty, and Al McRae has reached. It will be a base hit for McRae, a bunt single, and a run batted in. Cincinnati Reds in the vaunted Big Red Machine have exploded for 3 runs against Cuellar in the very first inning. And manager Earl Weaver activates the right-handed Tommy Phoebus in the Baltimore bullpen as Tommy Helm steps in. First ball hitting, ground ball to the third baseman. Brooks Robinson's throw to second forces McRae at second base. But the Reds have a great first inning. At the end of one, it is Cincinnati 3, Baltimore nothing.
Jim Simpson with Chet Thompson is scoring in that first inning. Poland, who reached on the fourth play. Perez, of course, singled, and it was Lee May's double. The ruling now is he went to third on an error by Paul Blair in center field. And, of course, May scored on the fielder's choice when they tried to get Hal McRae at home plate in Cuellar through Wild. And now it is the top of the second, and again as yesterday, Chet Thompson, Cincinnati has taken a 3-0 lead.
Right you are, and here is Brooks Robinson facing Jim McLaughlin working on a 3-0 lead, and the pitch is low and outside, and that'll make the count now. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brooks Robinson. The official scorer has ruled rather than a triple for May, a double, and he'll take third base on an error charged to the center fielder, Paul Blair. 2 runs batted in, however. Pitch. Fly ball out in the shallow right field. On the right fielder, back to second baseman. Second baseman and first baseman. There's confusion, and Lee May, the first baseman, made the catch. But again today, as we saw on 2 occasions yesterday, a bit of confusion between the infielders and the outfielders on who was to make the catch. A routine pop fly to shallow right field. Helms was there. Lee May was there. Rhodes was there. And at the last moment, Lee May made the catch. One away, and here is Elrod Hendricks. 1 hit and 4 trips yesterday for Baltimore. It went all of the way. A solo home run to tie the game at that point, 3-3. Hendricks, a left-handed swinger, fairly deep in the box, and is right down on the end of the bat. Pitched and by McLaughlin, the curve bites off the inside corner of an east. Strike call to Elrod Hendricks. If you are scoring now, all 3 of the Cincinnati runs in the bottom of the first inning are unearned runs. So 1 strike offering to Hendricks. Low on a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Belanger charged with the error that could have been the first out, then Tobin would have been the second out. Perez singled, bench fly to right, could have been the third out. All runs scoring thereafter unearned. 1 ball, 1 strike to Elrod Hendricks. McLaughlin worked too high, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. But the Reds and the Orioles off to an exciting and a very sudden start here in the opening innings of game number 2. 1 out, nobody on. Hendricks waiting, a 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. McLaughlin throws, swing ground ball sharply hit at the first baseman May. He's got it, going to the bag, unassisted put out for Lee May. Hendricks retired on the bouncer to the first baseman. 2 gone in the Baltimore half of the second inning. And the batter, Dave Johnson. Johnson 1 for 3 yesterday afternoon, doubled in the Oriole 9th inning. The Cincinnati Reds play Dave Johnson just about straight away in all departments. Dave will hit the ball just about where it's pitched. Handful and will go the other way. The first pitch to Johnson is popped up foul behind the plate. It's going to be out of play. Strike 1, the count to Johnson. Incidentally, the official scorers here, Bob Hunter of the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, Bob Herschel of the Cincinnati Enquirer, and Jim Elliott of the Baltimore Morning Sun. The 1 strike pitch is a touch-deep call, a quick breaking ball, knee-high over the outside corner to Johnson. 0-2, the count to the Baltimore second baseman and right-hand swinging, Dave Johnson. Pitch. High and a ball. 1-2 now today. McLaughlin to the full line, delivering 1-2 to Johnson. Curving a line drive out toward left field, waiting for it out there is Hal McRae. It bounces in front of him for the single, and Dave Johnson has Baltimore's second base hit, a line single to left field. That will bring in Mark Belanger. Belanger went 1 for 3 yesterday afternoon, reached twice, however, once with a base hit, and was given the intentional walk in the 9th inning. An outstanding defensive shortstop who committed the error in the first inning that helped open the door a bit for the Reds, and given the opportunity, this fine Red Leg ball club jumped on Cuellar for 3 runs. The curve and a strike called to Mark Belanger. Lee May does not hold with base runner Dave Johnson at first base. He's backed off the bag 3 or 4 paces. McLaughlin there into the set position. Just 1 strike offering to Belanger is a fastball low and a nifty grab by catcher Johnny Bench. I think if you were with us via radio yesterday, you heard me say that Bench was the one man I was more anxious to see than any of the other Reds. And may I say today that he was not a disappointment, not even a little bit. What an outstanding talent is Cincinnati's John Bench. The 1-1 offering to Mark Belanger. Fastball hit in the air, shallow right field, back to first baseman, over to second baseman, coming on the right fielder, and it is again the first baseman making the saving catch in foul ground for the final out of the inning. Baltimore no runs, a base hit, and a man left. At the end of an inning and a half, it is Cincinnati 3, Baltimore nothing.
After sending 7 men to bat in the first inning, Cincinnati got 3 unearned runs, leading 3-0. Woodward the batter, and here's Chuck.
Woodward yesterday came to the plate twice without a base hit. Right-handed swinger, and McQuarrie is over the inside corner, belt high, and a strike is called. Yes, sir, the Reds jumped on left-handed Mike Cuellar for 3 runs, 3 hits, plus 2 Oriole errors in the bottom of the first. A bunt foul over the screen and out of play. 2 strikes now to Woody Woodward. Behind Woodward will come pitcher Jim McLaughlin, and Jim is not an automatic out as a batter. Average-wise, McLaughlin hit only 121, but he's had some extra base hits and hits with occasional power. Fly ball, center field, Blair waiting. The Oriole center fielder up and makes the catch to retire Woodward for the first out of the inning. Woodward's on the fly ball to center field, and here comes McLaughlin. Jimmy hit 121 on the year. He had a double, he had a triple, he also had a home run, and he knocked in 6. And he bats them the way he throws them from the third base side. Hendricks has gone to the mound to talk to Mike Cuellar. One out, nobody on. We're in the last half of the second inning. Cincinnati 3, Baltimore nothing, game number 2. Cuellar's pitch to McLaughlin. High. Ball 1. John Red Flaherty of the American League is the umpire at the plate this afternoon on balls and strikes. Cuellar's 1-0 to McLaughlin. Foul ball out of play behind the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tony Benson of the National League at first base. Bob Stewart of the American League at second base. Bill Williams of the National League at third base. On the left field foul line, Emmett Ashford of the American League. And Ken Burkhardt of the National League on the right field line. Pitch low and a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike to Jim McLaughlin. Cuellar 2-1 offering to McLaughlin, swing and a miss, and the count evens now 2-2. Outfield shortens up a little bit against pitcher Jim McLaughlin. The infield is straight away. And Hendricks now pumping up the sign for the Baltimore left-hander Cuellar. It's 2-2 to McLaughlin. Struck him out on the fastball. A swing and a miss, and McLaughlin goes down. And for Cuellar, strikeout number 1. 2 out of the inning, and the top of the order, Pete Rose. Rose hit a sharply hit ground ball to the glove side of Baltimore shortstop Belanger. Belanger got through the ball, and then it pounded off the heel of the glove and went out into center field where Blair retrieved it. The error was charged to Belanger. The first of 2 Baltimore errors in the bottom of the first inning. Cuellar's pitch to the right-hand swinging Rose, the curve, but it's worked low, and a ball 1. Rose is backed out, and now just as quickly steps in again. Deep in the box is the right-handed batter is Pete Rose. Crouching, waiting for the pitch. Curveball, missed outside high. 2 balls and no strikes to Pete Rose. Cuellar to the move, the 2-0 to Rose. Fastball even missed inside. The count 3 balls, no strikes. And Rose again takes the stroll and flashes a quick look to third base coach Alex Grammas. And the big man Ted Kluszewski down the first base side. 3-0 the count to the waiting Rose as Cuellar delivers. Ground ball hit toward Brooks Robinson the third. It took a bad hop. He recovered. Now the throw to first. And Rose is the final out of the inning. 3 up and 3 down go the Reds. At the end of 2, Cincinnati 3, Baltimore nothing.
Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, 3-0. The Reds lead as we go to the top of the third. Jim Simpson with Chuck Thompson. This bit of advice. Wellington makes the team this year, but a every contribution will directly aid your U.S. Olympic team. And in 2-3 years, this distinctive cloth emblem will be a real collector's item.
The batter to lead off in the Baltimore half of the third inning is pitcher Mike Cuellar, a left-handed swinger, very deep in the box, and he's a wild swinger. 0.89 batting average. McLaughlin throws. Cuellar looks. Strike is called. 1 strike to Cuellar. Had a few hits this year, 2 home runs, not including the one that everybody will remember, the wind-blown Grand Slam home run in Minnesota. Swing and a miss with the breaking ball from McLaughlin, and the count, 2 strikes. Oh, 2 the count to left-hand swinging Cuellar. McLaughlin works. Curved him, a swing and a miss, and Cuellar goes down. And for McLaughlin, his second strikeout of the afternoon, 1 out of the inning, and now the top of the Oriole batting order, the switch hitting Don Buford, who is a left-handed swinger, to Jim McLaughlin. With a full count in the first inning, Buford with a little bit of a looping pop-up that squirted out over the head of third baseman Tony Perez and splashed in for the base hit. He was promptly rubbed out as Paul Blair hit into a quick double play. Short to second to first. One out, nobody on. McLaughlin spits to Buford. Inside, driving him off the dish, ball one. And the 1-0 pitch to Buford picked up the strike outside corner right around the knees. The ball and a strike now to Don. The Cincinnati outfield kind of jams up a little bit on Buford. That is to say, they play in toward the power alleys, giving the foul line down left and right. Swinging a fly ball, well hit. Deep right center field. Going back on the ball, Tolan, and the right fielder Rose. It'll be Rose, the right fielder, at the edge of the warning track in deep right center, making the catch for the second out of the inning. Buford with a drive deep in the alley in right center, handled by right fielder Pete Rose. Two away in the Baltimore half of the third, and the batter is Paul Blair, right-hand swinging Baltimore center fielder. Perez shortens up a little bit at third base. And the pitch coming down to Blair. Fastball, but it's outside, ball one. Center fielder Bobby Tolan is edging over a little bit toward the alley in left center field, and they're laying back rather deep to Blair. The line by McLaughlin on the pitch to Blair. Swinging a ground ball off the third base side. Perez doesn't get it. The shortstop does. The gunning throw to first in the dirt, and a fine grab by Lee May. Oh, a fine catch of the low throw from Woodward to May, and Blair is the final out of the inning. At the end of 2 1/2, it is Cincinnati 3, Baltimore nothing.
Third, Cincinnati leads it by a score of 3-0. Tolan reached on a fourth play in the first inning after Rose's reached on an error by Belanger that opened the gate. Blair later committed an error. Lee May had a double. Tom McLean a bunt single, a drive, and a run. And here we are 3-0 with all of the scoring in the first inning. And here's Bobby Tolan, and here's Ted Combs.
The left-hand hitting Tolan looking at a Cuellar for the second time. Cuellar's curve is low inside, and the ball one. Jim Simpson just made a fine point. Among the Baltimore errors, one by Brooks Robinson, one by Belanger, and one by Blair. Now we're including yesterday's game. The 1-0 offering to Tolan. Outside low and a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. 3 Golden Glovers have committed errors among the Baltimore errors to date. Baltimore committed 2 yesterday and 2 today. Pitch. Fly ball. Really hit. Deep right field. It's going to go. Home run, Bobby Tolan. Absolute truth. Cuellar starts a slow curve to Perez, and it missed outside. Ball one. No doubt about that being a home run from the moment it left the bat of Bobby Tolan. Cincinnati 4, Baltimore nothing. Pitch to Perez. Cuellar's curve. Outside. Ball 2. 2-0. And Tommy Phoebus is taking off the warm-up jacket and is headed toward the Baltimore bullpen. Perez rammed a single through the middle in the first inning. Pitch. Foul ball coming back up over the screen and out of play right in front of the NBC booth. The count to Tony Perez, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cuellar works. Top up, first base side, foul ground. Hendricks coming over, Powell coming over, and we'll see whether or not there's a play. Yes, sir, Hendricks makes the play. Right in front of the specially constructed booth for cameramen at the home plate end of the Cincinnati dugout. Perez is retired on a foul pop to Baltimore catcher Elrod Hendricks. 1 away. And here now Johnny Bench. He really touched one off against Cuellar in the first inning. A drive deep to right field. Frank Robinson went over to the alley right to the edge of the warning track in deep right center and grabbed the fly ball. They play a bench to the Orioles just about the way they played Tony Perez. Cuellar's first pitch, curve in, strike is called. Fine, slow curveball from Mike Cuellar. So look for the sign by Cuellar. The one-strike pitch to Johnny Bench. Fastball and popped up down the third base side and foul ground. Hendricks and Brooks Robinson converging. Hendricks, the catcher. Brooks Robinson, the third baseman, reached into the photographer's booth on the third base side and could not make the catch. Well, Perez did a foul ball, and Hendricks went into the booth, almost into that little area that is screened off for photographers on the first base side, and Bench has just hit a foul ball, and Brooks Robinson reached into the same sort of an enclosure at the home plate end of the Baltimore dugout on the third base side and could not hold on to it. No error charge. But 2 strikes to John Bench. Cuellar ready to go, and the left-hander's pitch. Curved him, high fly ball down the left field side, fading foul coming over Belanger. It may be out of play, and it is out of play. So the count continues 2 strikes to Bench. Oh, 2 to Johnny Bench. 1 out, but a run in as Bobby Tolan opened the bottom of the third with a home run smash into the seats in the right field corner. Pitch to Bench in the dirt and a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Cuellar here in the last half of the third inning is working his way through the heart of the Cincinnati batting order. Featuring just some awesome-looking hitters. The 1-2 offering to Bench. Outside with a screwball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bench led the National League in home runs with 45 and 148 runs batted in while hitting .293. The 2-2 offering to John Bench. He checks his swing in time, and it'll be a ball 3, a sharp-breaking screwball from Cuellar, which when thrown to the right-hand batting bench would be going down and away from him. Full count now, 3-2. The arm down, the pitch inside, almost hitting. Bench is on with a base on balls. A 1-out walk to Johnny Bench, and Drew Powell moves in to take the bag with the base runner at first base. George Bamberger, Baltimore pitching coach, is looking toward the bullpen, wanting to find out if Cevis is ready. And apparently he got an okay from Jim Fry, who runs the bullpen, because manager Earl Weaver is on his way to the mound, and he is going to get Cuellar right now. Cuellar is going to be lifted. He was charged with 3 unearned runs in the first inning and gave up a 3-0 lead in the first inning and a leadoff home run here to Tolan in the bottom of the third, and a walk now to Johnny Bench with 1 out, and Cuellar is out of the game for the right-handed Tommy Cevis. Well, with 1 away and the runner at first base, Johnny Bench, a run in on the Tolan home run, and Cincinnati leading 4-0. And this is but the bottom of the third. Lee May is at the plate, and right-handed Dave Leonard begins to throw in the Baltimore bullpen. And here is Tom Cevis, whose repertoire consists of an outstanding overhand curveball and a very good fastball. The pitch to May, ground ball sharply hit. Brooks Robinson knocks it down to third, throws to second. That's 1. Now to first. Double play. The long way round. Brooks Robinson to Johnson to Bruce Powell. And Cevis on 1 pitch stops the Reds in the third inning. At the end of 3, it is Cincinnati 4, Baltimore nothing.
Over. And now Baltimore trailing 4-0 in the top of the fourth sends up the heart of it. Batting order, Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, and Brooks Robinson. Here again, Chris Thompson.
Boog Powell against Jim McLaughlin in the first inning reached on a base on balls. Yesterday, Powell swung the home run bat for Baltimore to knock in 2 of their 4 runs. McLaughlin's pitch, fly ball, well hit, deep center field. We're watching Tolan back on the warning track, looking up. It is gone. A home run straight away to center field off the bat of Boog Powell, and the Orioles are on the scoreboard with their first run. And Powell's second home run in the World Series of 1970. It is 404 feet straight away to center field in this beautiful new ballpark. The fence is 14 feet high. There is a section of seats not used for baseball, and then the lower deck. And Powell's home run came down about 3 rows up in that lower deck in center field. A blast of approximately, it gets to be 430 feet. Here is Frank Robinson. Look to the third strike in the first inning. McLaughlin's pitch curved, low outside, ball 1. And the right-hander's 1-0 pitch to Frank Robinson, swinging a fly foul out of play down the right field side. A ball and a strike to Frank. And now as we look around, we see patches of blue again and the sun trying to show. So it's an on-again, off-again sort of an afternoon weather-wise in Cincinnati. 1 ball and 1 strike to Frank. McLaughlin works, curve, swing and a miss. What a curve ball from McLaughlin. A ball and 2 strikes to Baltimore's right fielder. Cincinnati 4 runs and 4 hits. The pitch to Frank, low and away and a ball. Cincinnati 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Baltimore 1 run, 3 hits, 2 errors. The Orioles committed 2 boots in yesterday's game and are already on the board with 2 more here in game 2. The 2-2 to Frank. Ground ball off the third base side. Woodward, the shortstop, to his right, makes the pickup. The throw to first is off the bag. Frank dives, but he is out. Out is the call. Frank Robinson dove head first at first base and is rather slow getting up, and we're waiting to see whether or not he is all right. Lee May is helping him onto his feet. But Frank Robinson, in an all-out effort to reach safely on the throw that pulled Lee May off the bag, made a dive and went in head first and was tagged by Lee May and is still down on one knee around the bag at first. And Baltimore trainer Ralph Salvon, manager Earl Weaver, George Stoller are there. And now here is Tommy Helms coming over. And to make a guess at this point as to what sort of an injury, I think would be impossible. Whether he perhaps bounced the chin in an effort to reach safely. He is up now dusting off the uniform, and we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Why not enjoy next year?
Now, Brooks Robinson swinging on the first offering with a bouncer to third baseman Perez has just been thrown out for the second out in the inning. Frank Robinson apparently, in his dive at the bag at first, hit on his chin. And that's what jarred him momentarily. And when he left the field, he was not limping and apparently just slightly shaken up and will be able to continue. There are 2 out with a run in on the Powell home run. And now Elrod Hendricks. McLaughlin throws. Hendricks looks. Ball 1 down low. The Cincinnati Reds play Hendricks, as everyone else does, as a dead pull hitter to right field. The 1-0 pitch to Hendricks, low inside, and a ball 2. 2-0 now to the Oriole catcher, Elrod Hendricks. Right-handed Dave Leonard at work in the Baltimore bullpen. 2 out, a run in. The 2-0 to Hendricks. Low inside, ball 3. 3-0. Three-0 pitch coming down to Elrod Hendricks. Fastball that's low outside and a ball 4, and another walk has been given by Jim McLaughlin. That'll be his second walk. He walked Powell in the first, and now Hendricks with 2 out here in the top of the 4th. Baltimore swinger will be Dave Johnson, a single to left field in the second inning. The Reds got 3 quick ones in the first inning, and a solo home run by Bobby Tolman added number 4 in the bottom of the third. Boog Powell's home run has made it 4-1 in the top half of the 4th inning of Game 2. Johnson waiting the first pitch from Jim McLaughlin. Outside, ball 1. Lee May, the big, strong first baseman, is not holding with the base runner Hendricks at first base. And the Reds again are playing Johnson just about straight away. 1-0 pitch coming down today. Ground ball right at the third baseman Perez. He's got it. The throw to second for the 4th with Hendricks coming down, and the final out of the inning. At the end of 3 1/2, it is Cincinnati 4, Baltimore 1.
4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Cincinnati. They lead by 3. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Orioles. Mike Cuellar, the 24-game winner, started for Baltimore, but was touched up for 3 unearned runs, with 2 errors helping along in the first inning. plus an important and key double by Lee May. Bobby Tolan added a home run in the last of the third inning. Boog Powell led off the Baltimore fourth, hitting the first pitch he saw about 430 feet straight away to center field to make it 4-1. Tom Phoebus is the pitcher, and he'll have Hal McRae, Tommy Helms, and Woody Woodward to work to in the last of the fourth inning. The temperature at game time, about 60 degrees. There had been the chance of showers. Chuck and I have been talking a lot about it, but apparently the showers are going to stay away, which is just dandy with us, because we're in the second game of the 1970 World Series. Baltimore won yesterday, 4-3. Cincinnati leads today, 4-1. Last of the fourth, and here again, Chuck Thompson.
Al McRae against Cuellar in the first inning dropped a bunt off the third base side, and the only play that Cuellar had a hope of making was at the plate, and his throw in desperation got by Hendricks. It was a bunt single and a run batted in for McRae. Right-handed hitter deep in the box. Phoebus throws low outside, ball one. McRae, a converted infielder. He was going to be a second baseman, but his chances of playing second for Cincinnati rather dim with the likes of a Tommy Helms. So he was converted to an outfielder. The 1-0 to McRae, swinging a line drive over the glove of the third baseman Robinson out at the left field corner. Playing the carom is Don Buford, and on his way for two goes Hal McRae. So McRae is 2 for 2 this afternoon. A line drive double off the wall in the left field corner for McRae. So McRae opens the Cincinnati fourth with a double in the left field corner, and here is Tommy Helms. He forced McRae at second to end the Cincinnati first inning. Phoebus, a chunky Baltimore right-hander, kicks and throws. A bunt off the third base side. It is going to be a dandy. They let it roll. It is fouled, and Brooks Robinson picks it up. And again, activity in the Baltimore bullpen will be right-handed Dave Leonard. Well, Tommy Helms bunting on this artificial turf here at the Riverfront Stadium. And if you can get the bunt to hit in the dirt area in front of home plate, then it would react much like a normal bunt on natural grass or ground. If, however, your bunt makes the first stop on the artificial turf, the chances of your reaching successfully are not too good. So Helms, with his attempted bunt, is back at the plate with a count strike one. At second base, Al McRae. The set by Tommy Phoebus and the pitch. Here's a ground ball at the second baseman. He bobbles it, goes back to recover. The only play is first base in time. And holding second is McRae. Actually, the ball took only one hop on the way to Johnson. Johnson may have taken his eye off the ball momentarily to check on McRae, who bluffed to start to third. Then he had to reach behind him to pick up the ball after dropping it, and threw to first base in time to get Helms. So Helms, in an obvious effort to hit the ball to the first base side to try and advance McRae to third, has been retired, second to first. McRae, however, still at second base as Woody Woodward steps in. Right-handed batter, and he chokes up on the bat considerably. Phoebus' pitch, curve, strike shift call. That good overhand curveball from Tom Phoebus. A leadoff double by McRae. In the second inning, Cuellar retired the Reds in order, and that's the only time it's happened this afternoon. So one strike pitch to Woody Woodward with McRae at second and one away. Phoebus steps and throws, low and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Against Woody Woodward, the Oriole infield is straight up, and the outfield, they'll only give Woody the foul lines down right and left, and they're playing him a little bit shallow. Woodward with 1 home run on the year, and seasonally he hit .223. The set by Phoebus, the 1-1 pitch, curve, a high and a ball, 2 balls, 1 strike. And now the sun breaks through at Riverfront Stadium here in Cincinnati. How long it'll stay? Who knows? Now the 2-1 offering to the Cincinnati shortstop, Woody Woodward. Swinging a line drive toward the alley, deep right center field. Coming on is Paul Blair. He's there, makes a good running catch to retire Woodward. Woodward gone on a line drive toward the alley in right center field. Blair, with good speed and quickness, got in front of it for the second out of the inning. And now the pitcher, Jim McLaughlin. He struck out against Cuellar in the second. Will face Tommy Phoebus here in the last half of the fourth inning. Cincinnati 4 runs on 5 base hits without an error. Baltimore 1 run on 3 hits, and the Orioles again have committed 2 errors already as we move through the bottom of the 4th inning. Stevens' pitch, check swing foul, off the railing in front of the Cincinnati dugout on the first base side. Strike 1 to McLaughlin. Now the 1-strike offering to Cincinnati's Curler. Stevens checks McRae at second, throws a curve, but it's high again. 1 ball and 1 strike. Whereas Jim Palmer, who started yesterday for Baltimore, and Cuellar, who started today for the Orioles, are very rapid workers. Stevens is a very slow, methodical pitcher. 1 ball and 1 strike. There are 2 outs. McRae at second, and Stevens has his sign, ready to go with a 1-1 pitch to Jim McLaughlin. Fastball him in the dirt. Good save by catcher Hendricks. The count is 2 balls and a strike to McLaughlin. Stevens, of course, looks back to a day 2 seasons ago when he did what all pitchers would love to be able to do, and that was to pitch a no-hit, no-run game against the Boston Red Sox in Baltimore. The 2-1 pitch, a foul ball out of play. 2-2 now to McLaughlin. McRae opened the inning with a line drive over the head of third baseman Robinson into the left field corner. Then Helms was out on a ground ball to second. Woodward flied to the center fielder in the alley in right center, and we now have a 2-ball, 2-strike count to McLaughlin. Stevens with a look to check the runner at second. Throws. Ground ball hit off the third base side. Belanger to his right has got it. The throw will be first base. In time to get McLaughlin for the final out of the inning. At the end of 4, the score is Cincinnati 4, Baltimore 1.
It's the 5th inning. 4-1 the score, Cincinnati. At least half of the 55,000 deaths on our highways last year involved problem drinkers. Many of these problem drinkers need to be helped. First, they need to be taken off the road. Sooner or later, it has to happen. Why don't you make it sooner? To find out what you can do about these dangerous drunk drivers, write to the National Safety Council, 425.
A 4-4 tie in the top of the 5th. Wilcox is ready, his pitch. High, and a ball. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Elrod Hendricks. That's pitch high, but not very high. The 2-2 to Elrod, low and inside ball, 3 and a full count, and now Baltimore has a bit of an edge. Not as much of an edge as they might have if their lead runner was someone other than Boog Powell, who is certainly not the best runner in the ball club, but for a man his size, he is a good runner. With 2 out and 3-2, they will be moving. The set by Wilcox, there they go, the pitch. Ground ball, base hit between third and the bag of third and the third baseman out in the left field corner. Powell scores run number 5. Brooks Robinson headed home. He will have run number 6. And on at second base is Elrod Hendricks, who just took the pitch again where it was delivered, outside, and slapped it between Perez and the bag of third into the left field corner for a 2-base hit. And Baltimore has run 5 and 6. And from the Cincinnati dugout again comes Sparky Anderson. And you credit Elrod Hendricks with a couple of runs batted in. And the sign has gone to the bullpen again. And once more, Jim Simpson.
And lead for 30 seconds for Stacey Carroll worked 2 1/3 innings yesterday. Gave up 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out 4, and allowed no runs at all. He is the third pitcher of the ball game for Cincinnati, and of this inning. This the ninth man on the order, Dave Johnson up. Chuck?
All ready to go, and Carroll throws the ball low and inside to Johnson. The ninth man to bat here in the top of the fifth inning. Hendricks, the runner at second base, 2 out, and Baltimore with a great big top of the fifth. The pitch. Ground ball hit over the pitcher's head, charging in the second baseman. A one-handed grab by Helms. A throw to first, and that's it for Johnson. The Orioles are retired, but at the end of 4.5 innings, it is now Baltimore 6, Cincinnati 4. Well, the Baltimore Orioles, who enjoyed 2 7-run innings in their 3-game sweep against the Minnesota Twins, have enjoyed a 5-run top of the fifth against the Cincinnati Reds. Coming from behind and now take over a 6-4 lead. In the top of the fifth inning, Baltimore with 5 runs on 6 base hits, no Cincinnati errors, and a man left on. And Chico Simon was the pinch hitter for Tommy Phoebus, who ignited the spark. And that also, of course, takes Phoebus out of the game with an inning and 2/3 of relief work, 1 base hit, no walks, no strikeouts, no runs charged. And now the Baltimore pitching is in the hands of the veteran reliever, Mo Grabowski. The top of the Cincinnati batting order in the bottom of the fifth inning. And our great pleasure to turn things over now to our partner, Jim Simpson.
Thank you, Chuck Thompson. Pete Rose, looking for his first hit of the 1970 World Series, reached on an error, was erased on a force play in the first, and bounced to third in the second. Fouls the first one off. Rose, a switch hitter, batting left-handed against the 35-year-old Mo Grabowski. And 4 years ago, we were talking about Mo Grabowski in the first game of the 1966 World Series when he came on in relief, pitched 6 2/3 innings of scoreless 1-hit ball and struck out 11 of the Dodgers and started that 4-game sweep of the Dodgers by Baltimore. Ready again is Grabowski. The ball is hit to the right side. Powell is there, throws it to Grabowski, who steps on the bag, and Rose is still looking for his first hit of the 1970 World Series. Here's Bobby Tolan, and what a series he is having. He doubled yesterday and scored on Johnny Bench's single, walked, stole second, and rode home ahead of Lee Mays' home run. Today, he reached on a force play and was driven home by Perez, and then hit a home run on a 2-0 pitch to start off the third inning, which was the 4th Cincinnati run. It is 6-4 Baltimore. Baltimore scoring 5 times in the 5th. First pitch, fastball at the knees to Bobby Tolan. The youngster from Los Angeles, who, like so many of the Cincinnati Reds, is very young, only 24 years old. Facing the right-hander, fouls it off to the left. And it's strike one. 1-1 to Tolan. On deck is Tony Perez. Yesterday, Cincinnati had a 3-0 lead and lost the ball game 4-3. Today, they had a 4-0 lead and now trail in the last of the 5th, 6-4. Grabowski, tall right-hander, ready to throw over 1-1 count to Tolan, outside, and it's ball 2. Cincinnati's last appearance in the World Series was 1961, when they lost to the Yankees in 5 games. They've won 5 pennants. This is their 5th. They've won 2 World Series. Grabowski right back, fouled off again by Tolan to the left. It's 2-2. Baltimore, of course, won its first championship in 1966, swept the Dodgers in 4, won last year with a heavy favorite to take those amazing Mets, won the first game behind Cuellar on a Saturday in Baltimore, and then proceeded to lose the next 4 in the World Series. They're looking for revenge. 2-2 the count to Tolan, 1 out, inside with a breaking pitch. It's 3-2. 1 out in the last of the 5th. The Reds trailing by 2 in the second game of the 1970 World Series. They played Tolan around to the right as a pull hitter. Back again, but it's fouled off to the left by third base and out of play. Briefly again, the American League umpire will lean over the head of the catcher, and thus there are a lot of high pitches called for strikes and not too many low pitches called for strikes. In the National League, the umpire leads over the outside shoulder and gets that low pitch, but conversely, not too many high pitches are called for strikes. 3-2, the count to Tolan. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball. Johnson over near the bag. Throws sidearm to Powell at first, and the speedy Bobby Tolan is the second out of the Cincinnati 5th inning. That brings up Tony Perez. Hitless yesterday hit the first pitch for singles today, and then fouled out to Hendricks, the catcher. Yesterday, the report was, even from Cincinnati ball players, that Jim Palmer, a right-hander, was not getting strikes called that would have been called in the American League. They were so high. And McLaughlin was complaining today his low pitches were not being called strikes by the American League umpire, John Red Flaherty. There's a curveball from Mo Grabowski, and it's strike one to Perez. Grabowski ready again, throws him a fastball high and inside, but Perez swings and misses for strike two. Like so many Baltimore pitchers, and they will fool you, they work very rapidly, and Grabowski is ready again. It is Stevens who is the slow and deliberate worker. Grabowski not quite as quick as Palmer was yesterday. He strikes it out on a fastball, and Grabowski has a 1-2-3 inning. At the end of 5, Baltimore leads Cincinnati 6-4.
Win.
Chuck Thompson along with Jim Simpson at the Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Game 2 of the 1970 World Series. And on the board right now, the totals read for Baltimore 6 runs on 9 base hits and 2 errors. Cincinnati 4 runs on 5 hits with no errors. Briefly recapping the scoring again, the Reds against the starter, left-hander Cuellar, and Cincinnati went 17-2 against those left-handers this year. Got to Cuellar for 3 runs in the first inning. However, all 3 were unearned. Bobby Tolan added a solo home run in the third to give him a 4-0 lead. Powell matched Tolan's home run on the top of the fourth to make it 4-1. And then Baltimore exploded for 5 runs in the top of the fifth and now have a 6-4 lead as we go to the top of the 6th inning. And Mark Belanger is the new batter. Plate umpire John Flaherty has just visited the mound, I believe at the request of Clay Carroll. Something to do with the slab, and perhaps we'll get some information on it later on. Right now, back to the ball game and Jim Simpson.
Top of the 6th, Belanger to lead it off. 1 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 2 today. Ground ball to the right side. Helms backing on the ball, has it and throws on the man on 1 pitch. Carroll gets Belanger. Carroll came in and pitched only to Davy Johnson, the 9th man to bat in the Baltimore 5th inning, in which they scored 5 runs and got him on a ground ball to Tommy Helms. And now Mo Grabowski is the batter, up for the first time. Grabowski, throughout the year, got the bat just 9 times, had 1 hit. First pitch is ball 1 from Clay Carroll. Well, Baltimore's used 3 pitchers, and Cincinnati has used 3 pitchers this afternoon. 6-4. Baltimore leads. Foul at the plate by Grabowski. Baltimore had won 15 in a row before today, their last 11 of the regular season, all 3 in a row over Minnesota, and they won yesterday. They have also won 23 of their last 26 ball games. Curveball just does catch the corner. It's 1-2. Like it could have been a slider, but a breaking pitch from Clay Carroll. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Grabowski, who strikes out on a breaking pitch. Strikeout for Carroll in the third for the Cincinnati staff, and Don Buford, who has singled, flied deep to the alley and right, where it was caught by Rose in the 3rd inning, and then singled again on the first pitch in the 5th. So he is 2 for 3 today. Buford, a switch hitter, batting left-handed against the right-handed Clay Carroll. Sparky Anderson of Cincinnati today has gone with all right-handers. McLaughlin first, then Wilcox, and now Carroll. 2 out. Top of the 6th, 6-4. Baltimore swinging on the first pitch off the glove of Carroll, but Helms is there. Sidearm throw to May on a fine play, and he's out. A 1-2-3 inning. We go to the last of the 6th. Baltimore leading Cincinnati 6-4.
The Cincinnati Reds coming to bat in the last half of the 6th inning, trailing Baltimore by 2 runs. Baltimore 6-4. And for the Redlegs, Johnny Bench, Lee May, and Hal McRae are the new batters against veteran reliever Mo Grabowski, and we'll go right back to Jim Simpson.
Johnny Bench flied to right in the first inning, which is rather unusual for John, who was a dead full hitter, and that means to the left. Then he walked on the 3-2 pitch in the 3rd inning, and he was the last man that Cuellar pitched to. Mike Cuellar started. Grabowski is in there now and throws a breaking pitch that catches the outside corner of the bench, strike 1. Well, Cincinnati proved again that left-handers have a tough time against the big red machine of Cincinnati, even though the 3 runs that Cuellar gave up were unearned in the first inning. Breaking pitch, deep to left field. Back goes John Buford. Looks up. Home run. John Bench. It's 6-5, Baltimore. Johnny Bench led the league with 45 home runs during the regular season, 148 RBIs. The first base hit he got in the playoff championship was a home run, and he's just now hit a home run in the World Series at age 22 to bring the Reds within a run. And the very dangerous Lee May is the batter. May doubled in a couple of runs in the first inning, and then hit into a fast double play in the third, in which Brooks Robinson made a great play at third to start it. There's a swinging strike by May, and he almost falls down. Dick Hall is now up and throwing in the bullpen for Baltimore. 1 ball, 1 strike to May. Brooks has made some sensational plays yesterday and today over third base. 1-1 pitch from Grabowski is grounded foul past the coach Alex Ramos at third base. Darrell Caney is now warming up. He is not a pitcher. He is an infielder. And yesterday, when Cincinnati got something going, they batted for Woody Woodruff, who was the number 8 batter, and then brought in Caney to play at shortstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes to May. 6-5 the score. Baltimore leads. Fastball hit high in the air. Blair started in. He was pulled around to the left. Now goes back, not too deep, and has it for the first out of the 6th. May just didn't quite get it all. 1 out in the 6th. That will bring to bat Cal McRae, starting his first World Series game. And another of the youngsters of the Reds, he is only 24, punted his way on with a single in the first inning, driving in a run, and double to left to lead off the 4th inning. So he's 2 for 2 in his first World Series. McRae right-handed batter, Grabowski throws, strike on the outside corner. Grabowski at one time a fastball pitcher, more effective lately with breaking pitches. As so many of the older pitchers become, a little bit more heady. This breaking pitch misses outside. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Hal McRae. Ty Clyde is also warming up with Caney. Pitch from Grabowski misses outside. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. And now it looks like they're going to get a pitcher ready, and it's Don Gullett, the 19-year-old left-hander that's gone down to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. McRae awaiting the 2-1 pitch from Mo Grabowski. Throws, fouled back. It's 2-2. Well, we want to say hello to everybody listening on American Forces Radio. They're carrying our broadcast to their worldwide facility, reaching United States troops and Americans living overseas, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, Europe, the Caribbean, U.S. ships at sea. From Chuck Thompson, myself, Jim Simpson, and our producer, Len Dillon, our engineer, Dick Moss, hello to all of you. Breaking ball. Brooks Johnson and back at third. The throw is in the dirt, dug out by Boog Powell, and McRae, who has speed, is out. You know, as big as Boog Powell is, there's someone trying to kiss him off as a defensive first baseman. Don't you believe it? He's one of the great men with the glove around first. He can go high, but particularly he can scoop that ball out of the dirt. So with 2 out now, and a run in on Johnny Bench's home run, 6-5 the score Baltimore in the last of the 6th. Here's Tommy Helms. Had a base hit yesterday. He's 0 for 2 today. And there's a strike to Mo Grabowski. Sun is out. Grabowski is ready and throws. The ball is hit down the right field line. Over comes Robinson as it begins to fade foul and drops about 4 rows deep. Down by the bullpen where Don Gullett is warming up. Grabowski, 35 years old, now lives in Highland Park, but was born, I'm sure you all know, after his heroics of 1966 in Poland. First man born in Poland to win a World Series game that I can recall. 2 strikes, outside and low, to Tommy Helms. Helms carried into this season a 281 lifetime average, but he had much less than that, but his kind of hitting style has changed because of the power in front of him. Ball hits to center field. On the dead run is Paul Blair. Off to his left. Reaches up for the glove and has it for the third out. 1 run scores on Johnny Bench's home run. No errors and nobody left. We've gone 6 full innings now, and Baltimore leads Cincinnati 6-5. And Paul Blair, Boog Powell, and Frank Robinson to face Clay Carroll. Blair grounded into a fast double play in the first inning. Woodward threw him out with a fine play backing up Perez in the third inning, and he singled and scored a run in the fifth inning. And drives this one to center field. Solder was playing deep and must play this one on the first kangaroo hop off that artificial turf. And Blair reaches again. That is the first hit off Clay Carroll, and here's the dangerous Boog Powell. Walked in the first inning, hit a home run on the first pitch to deep center field about 430 feet away in the fourth inning. In the fifth inning, facing Milt Wilcox, the first man that Wilcox faced, he worked the count to 2-2 and then laced the single to center field, scoring a run. And Powell, the left-handed batter, is up again to face Clay Carroll with none out, and Blair at first and takes the strike call. Tomorrow's an off day. Then we move on to the game number 3, Tuesday in Baltimore. Supposed to be Dave McNally, a left-hander for Baltimore, and Tony Cloninger, a right-hander for Cincinnati. Clay Carroll is ready. Curveball is fouled at the plate by Powell, and it's 2 strikes. 51,531 looking on at Game 2 of the World Series, and the sun is out again. It has been in and out all day long. Well, no matter who wins this game or wins the series, each team now has the accolade that it does and can and will battle back. Each team has done it. Powell grounds this one to May. May goes to second base. Go back to first base, double play. Boog Powell bounces into a fast double play. As May gloved the ball and threw down to second base to Woody Woodward, the shortstop, to get the advanced man Blair, Tommy Helm, like the hustling second baseman he is, had come behind May in foul territory just in case Woodward's return throw was not on the mark. Frank Robinson, looking for his first hit of the series, takes outside and low. Ball 1. Frank is 0 for 7. But Woodward made quite a play on him in the fourth inning. He was called out on the fastball in the first inning and sent Rose deep to the wall in the fifth inning. Curveball, and it is laced just foul right past Billy Hunter, the coach at third base. So it's 1-1 to Robinson. 0 for 7 on the series. They play Robbie to pull, and of course, had he pulled that drive back in the fifth inning, it would have been out of the ballpark. Clay Carroll is ready, throws him a breaking pitch, which misses outside for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Orioles that led to 3 unearned runs in the first inning. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Reds. Ball 3. Low from Clay Carroll. 3-1 to the dangerous Frank Robinson. 1-run lead for Baltimore. We are just in the 7th inning. 2 explosive ball clubs. Fastball, and it's a strike. 3-2. Robbie back in the first inning with a 2-2 count apparently was guessing curveball from Jim McLaughlin, who's got a good one, and got a fastball for a call strike 3. He was looking all the way there and got another fastball. 3-2. He gets the curve on 3-2 here and fouls it down the third base line where Perez keeps it in play. And as yesterday afternoon, so this afternoon, even though it's only about 2:45 Eastern Daylight Time and the sun is out, the lights have gone on here at Riverfront Stadium. The shadows begin to creep in over the roof, stretching from the first base line on out toward the outfield. Ground ball to the right side. May is there. Easy play. Steps on first for the third out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left. We go to the last of the 7th. Baltimore holding a slim lead over Cincinnati 6-5.
Cincinnati Game 2 of the 1970 series. The Orioles on the board with 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Cincinnati 5 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. Yesterday in the opening game, Baltimore and Cincinnati battled to, well, almost an epic 1-run ball game. Baltimore winning 4-3, and another 1-run contest on the board this afternoon. And manager Sparky Anderson is making a move before starting the bottom of the 7th inning. Ty Klein will be the pinch hitter, and Jim, he started the fireworks yesterday as 1-run contest on the board this afternoon. And manager Sparky Anderson is making a move before starting the bottom of the seventh inning. Ty Klein will be the pinch hitter, and Jim, he started the fireworks yesterday as the pinch hitter for Cincinnati.
That's right, Chuck. Going back to the playoff games, in the 10th inning with Pittsburgh, scoreless tie, Klein led off with a triple and scored the winning run. Then in the third game, he came up as the pinch hitter in the playoffs and walked and scored a run. And yesterday, he was the man at bat. The bounced that ball right in front of the plate, on which Carbo tried to score from third and set off that big flat. So he's been in three important plays since the season ended. It's a fastball at the knees for strike one from Mo Grabowski. Yelich continues to warm, and of course, Dale Caney is warming up also as Klein is batting for Woodward, and apparently Caney will go in the top of the eighth inning as Yelich continues to warm, and of course, Dale Caney is warming up also as Klein is batting for Woodward, and apparently Caney will go in the top of the eighth inning as the defensive replacement. Klein has a count of strike one. Mo Grabowski on the mound. Ready, throws, fastball. And this ball is out over the head of the Lansing. And Ty Klein again is involved in getting on base on a big play for the Reds. Angel Bravo now comes out, and this is exactly the way that they were pinch hitting yesterday, using Klein as their first pinch hitter, and then Bravo as their second pinch hitter. Yesterday, Bravo struck out as the pinch hitter in the ninth inning. Conference on the mound, and the Baltimore bullpen gets busy again. Dick Hall, 40 years old, graduate of sophomore, goes down there to start throwing again. Yelich continues to warm for Cincinnati. Bravo, throughout the regular season, he was a batting champion of the Pacific Coast League a year ago. And throughout the regular season this year, hit 277. Only got the bat 65 times. Left-handed batter against the right-hander, Mo Grabowski, with Klein at first base. And there's a check there by Grabowski that Ty Klein is back. 6-5 the score. The tying run on at first base, nobody out. We're in the last of the seventh. Pitch is outside, ball one. Angel Bravo. They were looking for the bunt as Powell was breaking in from first and Brooks Robinson from third. Bunting is more difficult on artificial turf, but as they say, a good bunt is always a good bunt. But the bunt gets to the infield is much quicker if bunted right at them. Grabowski ready again, high and away from Bravo, who was looking as if to bunt. 2-0. Bravo knows, the Reds know, and the fans know that a walk is as good as a sacrifice here, and even better. Marcelino Lopez, the left-hander, has joined Dick Hall in the Baltimore bullpen. 2 balls, no strikes. Bravo is taking his look at third base coach Alex Grammer. Grabowski pitching out of the stretch is ready. There's the bunt in front of the plate. Big foul is in. Will go to first base with a throw. Johnson covering there. The sacrifice is complete as Ty Klein goes to second, and Pete Rose comes up with a chance to tie the ball game. Klein at second base. Pete Rose. And what a spot for the man they call Charlie Hustle, who for the fifth time in the last 6 years has 200 or more hits this season. Pete Rose in the World Series is still looking for his first base hit. 0 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 3 today, reaching on an error today, and a walk and Texas interference call yesterday. Grabowski throws outside and low to Rose, ball one. It was Pete Rose in the first game of that playoff series between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, but after Klein tripled, singled in Klein to break the scoreless deadlock. Grabowski staring back to Klein, throws again, outside again, and Hendricks walks out a few places before tossing the ball back to the veteran Mo Grabowski. 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Orioles, 5 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Reds. Baltimore won yesterday's first game of the 1970 World Series 4-3. They were down 3-0 and came back to win it. Today, they were down 4-0 and came back to take the lead, but now they're in the danger of having themselves tied. Big breaking pitch stays outside. It is 3-0 to Rose. He stares down the Grammer to third base. On deck is Bobby Tolan, who has been murdered in the playoffs the World Series, and for that matter, in the regular season. Grabowski in the sunlight, standing on the mound here at Riverfront Stadium, staring in at his pitcher, Elrod Hendricks. Is ready on 3-0. Rose is taking all the way, and the ball touches the outside corner so close as to have Pedro's question umpire John Red Flag. But it's a strike, and it's 3-1. Klein leads off at second base. Grabowski ready, throws again, it's foul out of play, and it's 3-2 on Rose. One out with Klein at second. We haven't said it too often today. If you're not aware of the Cincinnati Riverfront Stadium, it is completely artificially turfed as far as the playing area is concerned, with the exception to the warning plaque near the wall, and dirt patches around home, first, second, and third, and of course the mound. Everything else is artificially turfed, and the infield is lined so you know where the so-called skin of the infield is. Grabowski ready on 3-2, way outside, and high ball for Rose walks, and Bobby Tolan comes to bat. And Earl Weaver comes out of the dugout as Grabowski has put the potential winning run on at first base. As Weaver comes out, we pause 30 seconds for station.
Manager Earl Weaver has again gone to the bullpen and has summoned a hard-throwing young left-hander, Marcelino Lopez, to relieve Mo Grabowski. And he has Bobby Tolan at the plate, Jim Simpson at the mic.
All right, Chuck Thompson, and of course, as we pointed out yesterday, Tolan, and as Chuck pointed out today, hits left-handed very well. He hit a home run over the left-handed Cuellar in this game. Low with the first pitch is Lopez. Ball one. Earl Weaver brought in Pete Rickard yesterday to face Tolan in the last of the ninth inning, protecting the one-run lead. Rickard, the left-hander, and afterwards Weaver said, of course, I know that Tolan hits left-handers better than right-handers, but I had to go with my best stuff, and that was Pete Rickard. Lopez is ready and throws, swing and a miss to strike one. 1-1 to Tolan. Lopez, 28 years old, born in Havana, Cuba, now lives in Miami. Big man, 6'3", 220 pounds, and this, of course, his first World Series game. Down at second base is Ty Klein. On at first base is Pete Rose. One out in the seventh. It's 6-5 Baltimore. Lopez ready. Throws. It's low, and it's 2-1. To show you how well Tolan hits left-handers, despite the fact he is a left-handed batter, he has either led or been the second best hitter on the Cincinnati staff against left-handers the last 2 years. And he's only been with the Reds the last 2 years. Lopez ready again. Ball is accidentally fouled by Tolan. Tried to turn away from the pitch. That is not laying across his chest, and the ball hit it and glanced off to the left. And Bobby now has a count of 2-2. Klein is the pinch hitter for Woody Woodward, led off this inning with a single. Angel Bravo sacrificed into second on a 3-2 pitch. Grabowski's pitch was high and away to Rose for ball 4, and that was all for Grabowski. And Bobby Tolan is up there now with a 2-2 count, trying to drive in the tying run. Lopez ready. Throws, ground ball, but it's foul, and toward the Cincinnati dugout. Ed Kazuski, great Cincinnati star, now coaching at first base. Goes over and picks it up. Crew was in a World Series, but not with the Reds, with the Chicago White Sox in 1959. Lopez, with a new baseball off the back of the mound, now strides up. And again faces Bobby Tolan with the same 2-2 count. Klein walks off at second base. Rose holding on a little bit closer to first base, although he's not being held there by Powell, of course, the man on second. 2-2 pitch is inside, and it's 3-2. 6-5. With one out, we'll see whether or not Klein and Rose are going. With 2 out, of course, they would go, but we'll see how now Sparky Anderson, the Bobby Tolan bat, is going to play this. Wait and see or take off. Tolan waits. Bat held very high. Stands upright as a left-hander. The ball is popped up. Brooks Robinson comes in, glasses down. He is in fair territory. Now foul and has it. And has retired the dangerous Bobby Tolan. But Tony Perez is coming up, and I don't believe that Earl Weaver is going to allow the left-hander, Lopez, to face the right-hander, Tony Perez. He goes out and claps his hands and tells Lopez, you've done the job, taps him on the back, sends him away, and calls him the big right-hander, Dick Hall, to face the right-handed Tony Perez.
The typical jam for a relief pitcher. Perez at the plate. Ty Klein at second. Pete Rose at first. Baltimore 6, Cincinnati 5, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning, and here's Jim.
Perez was 0 for 3 yesterday in the first game out of walk and singled on the first pitch he saw in the first inning today and scored the second run of the ball game. Since then he was fouled out and is struck out swinging. All is ready, and there's a bounding ball to left side. Robinson's there, throws on for the fourth to Johnson at second base, and Hall on one pitch gets Baltimore out of trouble. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, but 2 men left on base. At the end of 7, it is still Baltimore 6, Cincinnati 5.
Going now to the top of the 8th inning at the Riverfront Stadium. On the mound for the Cincinnati Redlegs will be pitcher number 4 in Game 2. Another of the fireballing youngsters that Cincinnati owns, the southpaw young John Gullett. Clay Carroll is out with another outstanding relief performance. The pinch hit effort of Bravo took him out of the ball game. This afternoon, Clay took 2 1/3 innings, allowed the Orioles only a harmless leadoff single by Blair in the 7th inning. I say harmless because he promptly got Powell then to hit him to the double play. That's the 3rd twin killing the Reds have turned in the World Series. Carroll did not walk a batter and struck out a batter and did not allow the Orioles to run. Now, yesterday in a losing cause, Carroll pitched 2 1/3 innings of relief ball, allowed 2 hits, walked 2, struck out 4, and did not allow the Orioles to run. And now Baltimore will start in the 8th inning with Brooks Robinson, Elrod Hendricks, Dave Johnson against another fastballing left-hander, John Gullett.
John Gullett was 20 years old and born and lived in Lynn, Kentucky. Facing Brooks Robinson, left-hander, fastball. Robinson hits the first pitch. Down at shortstop as Gerald Chaney had a little trouble with it and throws on the nose for the first out. Chaney approached in, and when Woodward is batted for by Klein as the anticipator. That'll bring up Elrod Hendricks. Made had quite a play on him in the second inning of a sharply hit ball down to first base. Hendricks walked in the 4th, and his double on a 3-2 pitch in the 5th inning with 2 outs scored Boog Powell and Brooks Robinson with the 5th and 6th run. First pitch to Hendricks to strike 1. Gullett, as we said in instructional league this winter, will work on his breaking pitches. Right now, he is almost strictly fastball. This one is in the dirt, rolls away from John Bench. And, of course, it is Gullett, a left-hander, going right now to the left-hander, Elrod Hendricks. Hendricks has had a fine series. Despite the fact he's playing under the handicap of trying to come back from a fractured finger. Gullett ready, fastball, fouled away to left. Yesterday, Hendricks had a home run to tie the ball game at 3, and today he doubled in with 2 runs, the 5th and 6th. So he has provided the winning punch for Baltimore thus far in this 6-5 ball game. He was also involved, you'll recall, in that play at the plate. Dave Leonard and Jim Harden now warming up in the Baltimore bullpen. Fastball again, this is high. Hendricks, he gets away from it. And it's 2-2. 1 out in the 8th. Baltimore 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Cincinnati 5, 7-0. Second game of the World Series. Baltimore won yesterday, 4-3. And this is the 4th Cincinnati pitcher today. Gullett ready, throws that fastball again. Lace to Helms at second base. Hit off the handle. Looked as though it might make the outfield, but Helms raced back, and the ball began to die, and he gloved it for the second out of the 8th. That'll bring up Davey Johnson, who singled in the second inning, reached on a force in the 4th, and grounded out to end the 5-run 5th inning. He was the first man that Clay Carroll faced. Up for the 4th time in this game, Gullett ready, right-handed Johnson takes low and inside, ball 1. Harden continues to throw. Leonard continues to throw. Nobody working in the Cincinnati bullpen. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch to Johnson, swing and a miss on the fastball. It's 1-1. Almost an entirely different ratio among these two ball clubs with their pitching staffs. The Reds have 60 saves and only 32 complete games. Baltimore had 60 complete games and only 31 saves. Outside, to Johnson, 2 balls and 1 strike. So Baltimore had the kind of pitchers that went all the way and had 60 complete games of 162, whereas Cincinnati relied on the bullpen, as they are right now. Gullett ready with a 2-1, fastball to foul off to the right. It's 2-2 to Johnson. 2 out, none on in the top of the 8th inning. Well, this has been quite a World Series yesterday. Let's play at the plate involving Elrod Hendricks, umpire Ken Burkhart, and runner Bernie Carbo. And today, a 4-0 lead by Cincinnati erased, and now they're trying to battle back at 6-5. Well, it is low with the pitch, and it's all the way 3-2. Ray Washburn, former St. Louis Cardinal, more recently with Cincinnati, a big right-hander, and the veteran has gotten up and started to throw for the Reds. Gullett back on 3-2, misses. Johnson draws the walk. Bench was going to the dugout. He thought it was a strike. And there is an American League umpire, John Red Flaherty, behind the plate. Here is Mark Belanger, 1 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 3 today. Gullett stares over at Johnson, the base runner, and throws low. Ball 1 to Belanger. Gullett is a stocky left-hander. Looks in. Throws fastball, ground ball to Perez, who has it at third, throws on down the hands at second for the fourth play. Johnson and the Orioles are out. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the last of the 8th, with Baltimore holding on to the lead, 6-5.
Will be facing for Cincinnati Johnny Bench, Lee May, and the third due batter is Cal McRae. It is again a 1-run ball game. Baltimore 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Cincinnati 5 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. And the man who delivered run number 5 is at the plate.
Johnny Bench, he hit a curveball from the basket. He got the 6 with a home run. He takes the breaking pitch high and away from Dick Hall here in the last of the 8th. 6-5, the score is said. Cincinnati desperately wants this, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why. Another pitch up high from Hall, who has great control, but he's behind the bench 2-0. Only 5 teams in Major League history have lost the first 2 games and then gone on to win the series. Cincinnati doesn't want to go 2 games down to Baltimore. Foul back on the next pitch from Hall to Bench. It's 2-1 to Johnny Bench, the premier catcher in the National League, Golden Glove winner, first time that's ever happened as a rookie. And very much in the voting for the most valuable player in the National League for 1970. Already again throws a big curve. Bench waits on it, drills it to center field. Blair looks like he had trouble finding it, but does find it. Comes in and makes the catch. And that'll bring up Lee May, who doubled in a couple of runs back in the first inning. Get into a double play started by Robinson, who dove to start it. Tapping the ball, getting to throw on down to Johnson at second base, and he flied to center in the 6th. May looks down to Grammas, and as we look to the Baltimore bullpen, it is still busy. All throws, ball is hit on 1 hop. The Belanger shortstop with plenty of time to throw on the Boog foul, and they're quickly 2 out. I don't think I need to point it out to you that this is the inning that Dick Hall and the Orioles want to get by. They have disposed of Johnny Bench and Lee May. And Bernie Carbo is now coming out. Nope, that is Hal McRae, who will bat, the right-handed outfielder, the youngster. And no wonder he bunted his way on with a single in the first and doubled in the fourth before grounding out in the 6th. All ready to throw. Outside and low, it is ball 1. But as we said, if Hall and the Orioles can get through the middle of this lineup, it would mean that in the 9th inning, they would have the 7th, 8th, and 9th men due up. Back again, hit high in the air to the left side. Buford hardly moves the set. Now walks 1 or 2 to his right, comes back to his left, and has it for the 3rd out. And Hall has gotten Bench, May, and McRae. 1, 2, 3 at the end of 8. Baltimore still leads 6-5. Dick Hall will lead it off in the 9th inning against John Gullett, and manager Sparky Anderson of Cincinnati has Wayne Granger, who has 35 saves this year, up and throwing just in case Gullett gets in trouble. All takes high from Gullett, ball 1. At the moment, it is a 1-run ball game, and Anderson doesn't want it to go any further than that. Gullett looks into Hall. Ready at 1-1, or rather 1-0, and throws, and it is inside 2-0. Well, yesterday and again today, Chuck and I made a point of saying that Baltimore set an American League record this year by winning 40 one-run ball games. They won a 1-1 ball game yesterday. There's low from Gullett, but it's at the knees, and it's a strike, 2-1. And they're involved in a 1-run ball game again today. So they have had their measure of a close, exciting ball game. They lost 15 one-run ball games during the regular season. Hall swings on the fastball. And it's 2-2. Buford waits on deck. Gillett ready, and the ball is hit to the right side. May breaks off from the right side toward the stands, and it drops 3 rows deep. But still 2-2. May is at first base, Tommy Helms at second. Darrell Cheney is the shortstop, Tony Perez the third, McRae in left, Coleman in center, Rose in right. Spence is the catcher, and Don Gillett is the fourth Cincinnati pitcher. And in the top of the ninth, he's got a 2-2 count on the leadoff batter, Dick Hall. Gillett ready, and with the fastball, strikes out Hall. That's Gillett's first strikeout, and only the fourth by the Cincinnati staff. Here is Buford. Singled in the first, erased on a double play. Hit a ball deep to right in the third that was caught by Rose. Singled and scored run in the fifth, and a fine play by Helms got him in the sixth. So he is 2 for 4 today. Buford, a quick hitter, has gone to the right side now against the left-handed Don Gillett. Gillett ready, throws the fastball. It's high, ball 1. 51,531 looking on. The sun is now out, but the crowd, there's another high pitch from Gillett who had trouble with the mound that time. It's 2-0. Concepcion is down there throwing in the bullpen and might come in for defensive purposes or later on in this inning if the going gets rough, but he is simply down there throwing because after the 9th inning, Baltimore doesn't care if it gets up again. There's a strike on the pitch from Gillett at the knees. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Concepcion was up and throwing in late innings yesterday also, but never got in. Gillett is ready and throws. Fastball is outside, and it's 3-1 to Buford with Paul Blair on deck. 6-5 the score. We are in the 9th inning. Cincinnati trails and would hate to move on to Baltimore, down 2 games to none. Swing and a miss on the 3-1 pitch. I mean, Don Buford wound up and really swung. Don isn't too tall, but well-built, was quite a football player at Southern Cal. And 10 hit with power. Gillett ready, high, and Buford draws the walk. Don had 17 home runs during the regular season and stole 16 bases. Paul Blair hit into a double play in the first. Perez tried to get his run in the third, but Woodward picked it up and threw him out, May making a fine play at first, then he singled and scored a run in the fifth. And singled again in the seventh, and again. He was erased on the double play. Fastball, he went around on it. Strike 1. Buford, of course, becomes very important to both Baltimore and Cincinnati. A 2-run cushion in the last of 9th. The big difference in playing for that 1 run. So Cincinnati doesn't want Buford to score, and Baltimore does. Gillett out of the stretch, throws the fastball. It's popped up foul and out of play behind home plate. 2 strikes to Blair with Boog Powell waiting on deck. And what a series Powell has made. Remember, in the most valuable voting, player voting, Powell should be right up in there, but it's made after the regular season and before the playoff series and before the World Series. So that voting is all over with. Outside with the fastball to Gillett, and it's 1 and 2. Now, of course, there is that voting for the most valuable player in a World Series. Won last year, as I recall, by Don Clendenin, the first baseman of the New York Mets. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Buford at first, 1 out in the 9th. Gillett ready to throw. Comes back with the fastball to right field. Pete Rose goes back on it, not near the warning track. One-hands it, and then prepares to throw to second, but Buford drops back to first. So he throws cutoff man, and Boog Powell comes up. Powell today walked in the first, homered about 430 feet away on the first pitch he saw in the 4th inning. He singled to drive in a run in the 5th inning and hit into a fast double play in the 7th. Up with 2 outs, Buford at first in the 9th. Powell, the left-hander, working against the left-hander, Don Gillett. The 19-year-old fireballing left-hander took something off that pitch. It's inside, ball 1. Consider that Wilcox, who pitched today, is 20. Gillett, who is pitching now for the Reds, is 19. The Orioles are not an old ball club, averaging less than 30 years of age, but they're 3.5 years older. There's a big swing by Powell. They are 3.5 years older on the average than is the young Cincinnati ball team. 1 ball, 1 strike to Powell. Now a giant Floridian. Yelich ready, throws. Fastball is fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yelich, throughout the National League season and in the playoff games, had great success against a fine left-handed slugger, much on the order of Boog Powell, by the name of Willie Stargell of Pittsburgh. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rangers simply standing on the mound watching out in the Cincinnati bullpen. Nobody in the Baltimore bullpen at the moment. There's a breaking pitch. That's thrown outside. Just misses. It's 2-2. 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Birds. 5-7-0 for the Reds. We are in the top of the 9th of the second World Series game. Yelich trying to get the side out so his teammates can try to tie it up in the last of the 9th. 5 hits. 3-2. Well, Powell walked on a 3-2 pitch back in the first inning. Hits the first pitch in the 4th. Single on a 2-2 pitch in the 5th. And here he is at 3-2. Now look, the left-hander throws low. He has drawn the walk. Buford goes on down to second base, and Frank Robinson, looking for his first World Series hit this year, 0 for 8, comes up. It has been very difficult for the Reds in this series to get Boog Powell out. He has really hurt. Frank Robinson, 0 for 4 today, but hit one in the 5th inning way back against the wall in right field. And Pete Rose went right to the wall and with his back against the wall made the catch. He was also grounded out twice and was caught looking on a 2-2 count with a fastball in the first inning. Johnny Bench went out to say something to Don Gillett, who, of course, is facing Robinson for the first time. 6-5 to score. Now Baltimore has 2 aboard with 2 out. Fastball high in the air, maybe a play on it. Bench comes back to the screen, looks up, and it falls into the seat. And much deeper in the seat than I thought, and Johnny Bench thought the ball would go. Bench came back as though he had to play all the way, and I was staring down, and he must have fallen, 15 rows back. 1 strike to Frank Robinson. Rookie of the league with the Cincinnati Reds. Most valuable player in the National League with the Cincinnati Reds. And then in 1956, he won the Triple Crown and was the most valuable player when he was traded away to Baltimore. Baltimore took 4 in a row that year from the Los Angeles Dodgers in the series. Big swing on a fastball, and I mean Don Gillett can really hum that fastball. 2 strikes. As one of the Baltimore coaches, George Bamberger, was saying today, pointing out at the Reds who are taking batting practice, he said that team, meaning Cincinnati, is going to be around for a long time. 2 strikes, and he is caught looking on a fastball on the outside corner. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the last of the 9th inning. Baltimore 6, Cincinnati 5. Cincinnati is down by a run. And we don't mean to repeat ourselves, but for those who just joined us, Baltimore won 40 one-run decisions in American League record during the regular season, and they won a 1-run decision yesterday. There's a called strike. Paul asking for, well, he's asking John Red Flaherty about a pitch or about the ball. In any case, Hendricks throws back the ball. The board says strike 1, and Hendricks is up.
Jim, I'm not sure whether Tommy Helms was backing out and calling for time or not, but it's strike on the board.
Back again, just off the cutter, 1-1. 4-3 yesterday's score in a thriller in which the Orioles were down 3-0. They were down 4-0 today. They lead by a run, and the Reds are trying to come back. Breaking pitch, and it's fouled back. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Helms with Caney on deck. Now, Ty Klein and Angel Bravo have been used as pinch hitters. But Bernie Carbo, a left-hander, a rookie who hit more than 300, has not yet made an appearance. Breaking pitch, up the middle, Belanger over back to second base, goes on to first. He's got him in a close one. Fine play by Mark Belanger, whose error opened the way for 3 unearned runs back in the first inning. Caney is out on deck. Darrell Caney batted .232 during the regular season. He is a switch hitter. And Jimmy Stewart is coming out on deck. And apparently Carbo will not pinch hit following Darrell Caney, but Jimmy Stewart will. And now Carbo is out on deck, and Caney has gone back. And Stewart is also out on deck. So Caney was out there. Stewart came out. Caney went back. Carbo came out, and here is Bernie Carbo, who hit .310, 21 home runs, 63 RBIs during the regular season, and has a lot of supporters in that voting for the Rookie of the Year. In yesterday's game, he was 0 for 2. He walked twice, and of course was involved in that play at the plate. First pitch is a called strike to Bernie Carbo. Well, Carbo has home run power. 21 of them. Big call is ready. Back. The pitch is off the plate. Outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Carbo. 1 out, last of the ninth. 6-5. Baltimore trying to go back home for the third game on Tuesday, leading 2 games to none. Cincinnati trying to avoid that. Big curveball, grounded down to Bruce. Tyler's going to make the play himself, and there are 2 outs. And now the switch-hitting Jimmy Stewart will bat. Stewart, a .267 hitter during the regular season, came up yesterday, also in the 9th inning, to lead it off and struck out swinging against the ultimate winner, Jim Palmer, and that was Palmer's, believe it or not, first strikeout of that ball game. He struck out 12 in the playoff series. All is ready to throw to Stewart. Swing, strike. Veteran has been around in the American and National League, and came over a couple of years ago in a trade for Arrigo with the White Sox. 2 strikes on him. Hall comes back, and it's fouled out of play to the left. So Cincinnati is just a strike away from losing their second World Series game, the first 2, or turn it around. Baltimore is a strike away from winning the first 2 in a row. Baltimore's bullpen is busy, but they're watching Hall work. Pitch just misses. The Baltimore infield was on its way off the field. They thought that was called strike 3, but Red Flaherty said no. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Steve Rose kneeling on deck, hoping to get a chance to bat. 6-5 to score. The pitch. Ball is hit to center field. Paul Blair going way back toward the warning track. Turns, lifts up and holds it as he hits the wall. Jimmy Stewart with amazing power to center field, and Paul Blair with a patented golden glove catch in deep center field. And in this inning, Mark Belanger, who had an error in the first inning, made a nifty play on Tommy Helms to get him. And Paul Blair, also charged with an error in the first inning, makes a great catch going slamming into the wall. They end the ball game. And Baltimore has taken the first 2 games. Final score, Baltimore 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Cincinnati 5 runs, 7 hits, and no errors.